Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thanks very much for watching that earwax removal compilation video today. Now we've got a couple of patients in this one. We've got a lot of sort of messy wax removals in this one. There's a lot of sort of very wet, sludgy type of wax in here, which are good ones to see. They're not particularly my favorite ones to do, but it's good to see different types of earwax anyway. You can see just how humid this ear canal is. The endoscope has gone very misty straight away. So we're just going to start to pull this plug out here. Now we can see the slightly harder sections, a lot of mushy wax around the outside edge. Quite typical if somebody's used a very aggressive wax softening drop before they come in. We only recommend using olive oil to our patients before they come along for their appointments. But if they've had it done historically with irrigation or syringing, then those patients are quite used to being told to use a much more aggressive softener, and that's what's happened here. The difficulty when you're using that with microsuction, when you're syringing, you're pumping water and you're washing the ear canal out, and then when you're doing that, it's taking all those little sludgy bits off. When you're microsuctioning, you're not. You've got to work really close to the ear canal wall. It can be a bit uncomfortable for the patient, but you've got a really good plug there. Out that comes. Let's take a look behind it. Oh, there's a good looking eardrum there. So this is what it looked like to start with. You can see no trace of an eardrum whatsoever. But in this one then, when we've got rid of that, you can see a lovely clear ear canal, lovely clear eardrum there. It's exactly the same on this side. You can see where the softening drops are really acted on that outer edge. So you've got this central harder core, really sludgy material all around the outside edge there. So you can see we're just trying to lift this up. The first thing you're going to do is try and get rid of all that wetter wax, so you can actually get hold of something that's got a bit of substance to it, so we can pull that out. And that's what we've done here. You can see we've got that sludgy edge gone. We've got this central sort of core, just working this out, giving it a bit of a wiggle. It's quite a big core. You can see that very smooth underbelly to the wax there where it's been sitting against the canal wall. Let's give this a bit of a, ooh, is this going to come out? Ooh, are we going to have to call in the Jobson horn here? No, we got him out. There we go. Suction tube managed it. So we can see that sort of sludgy material, that grey material, a little bit of dry skin underneath there as well. Let's take a look behind that. There we go. Lovely clear ear canal on that one. This is what it looked like beforehand. And this is what it looks like afterwards. You can see a very different ear canal. So both these plugs here, 2.5 centimeters, bang on 1 inch. So pretty sizable plugs in both sides. You can see how they sort of taper down as well. And this really sort of deep chestnutty color as well on that one. Let's go on to our next one. So we can, no, look at that. We've got a dry piece of, this is bone dry. How can you tell it's bone dry? Look at the surface of it. It just looks dry. It looks flaky, and it's this lighter color. Now you tend to find, anecdotally in my experience, that you do tend to find when you get these sort of very lighter colored, flakier looking waxes there's usually a little bit of dry skin involved in here as well, and they tend to be tough as old boots to get out. They never want to come out. They're attached to everything, so they're always a little bit more difficult. So we just managed to get that front section. There was a little taper down to the front end there, so we've managed to get rid of that first of all. So that's very slowly drawing that out. There we go. And we can see that much flakier, harder type wax there. There's a teeny tiny gap at the top, and that surface, it is solid. It doesn't want to allow us to get a grip there. So we're going to call, oh right, we're going straight in with the Rosen inserter here. So I can see why we haven't got quite enough of a gap to get behind it there if we use the Jobson horn. You can see I'm probing my way along the surface there. Oh, there we go, a little bit of movement, a little bit of dry skin. Oh, we flicked it end on end here. Great, can we get behind it and pull this out? There we go, out that comes, boom, there we are. So you can see it's this really very, very solid. Now this would feel hard to the touch, this stuff. It's very, very kind of embedded with, you can see it just crumbling apart there, with dry wax and dry skin all involved in that. What's going on behind? Let's shove you down a little bit so we can see. Another very hard section. So we're not going to go too deep beyond that one. We don't accidentally scrape along the ear canal wall with the Rosen inserter, which would be very painful. So we're just pulling this out. There we go. Out that comes. Oh, whoops, dropped it. There it is. So you can see there as well, that sort of browner color in the middle, that's more wax, and those sort of tiny little bits. You can see the ear canal here, very, very narrow ear canal here as well. You'll see just in front of the eardrum. So we're just going to take all these bits. There's the dry skin we were talking about. You can see it just peeling away from the canal wall. It's really, really dry old stuff, this one. Let's get, there we go. Whoops. Just try to clip that little bit of dry skin away there. Now for someone like this is definitely someone I would say to use a little bit of olive oil on a regular basis. You can see how that ear canal really closes up there as well. Now you could say, well, is this surfer's, you know, a surfer swimmer's ear? Personally, I wouldn't have said so. I think, yes, you have got that narrowing, that little V shape at the bottom, but you would expect another little bump at the top there. So I think this is more just a little bit of, this is just this particular patient's anatomical kind of features of their ear canal, really. You can see how crumbly and dry and flaky all that skin is there. Let's take a look. There we go. So there's the eardrum. So this is what it looked like beforehand. You can see tough as old boots wax there. And this is what it looks like afterwards, so a lot clearer. This is the patient's other ear canal. Look at the difference here. Now, why would there be this massive difference in this one? Because the patient has oiled this one. And it's not unusual. Patients do this quite often where they feel they've got one ear that's very blocked up, so they'll oil that one, but it makes them feel even more blocked, so they don't want to feel the same sensation on the other side, so they don't do the other one so much. We've got there's that long strip of dry skin that was running down the side of that piece of wax there, all getting sucked inside the tank. And there's the next section. Let's grab this one and start to bring this forwards as well. You can see quite a chunky old piece of wax, this one. As we pulled the skin, it did pull it forward slightly, so I'm just trying to turn it. I think this is going to break into two by the looks of it, unless we can get a good grip on the top section and take the whole thing out in one, but I think it's going to snap into, yeah. There we go. So we've taken that section. So that actually was the top portion of the plug there. Let's go in behind it now, where we can see this much wetter, sludgier type wax further in. And why is that the case? Because the drops managed to get past the initial plug and they've sort of pooled sitting behind it. So what's happened there is all those kind of bits of dry wax and bits of dry skin have been sitting in a lovely bath of olive oil and softened up a lot. So we can see we've got the fine end in here. Let's get rid of this little bit. There we go. Lovely. And there's another tiny little bit just there, another little bit just there. There we go. Another little bit just there. There we are. So we're just taking some of these bigger kind of chunks off the canal wall here. There we are, these little dry pieces. Let's take a look there. There's the eardrum, they're looking a lot better. So this is what it looked like to start with. And this is what it looks like afterwards. You can see a very, very different ear canal. 2 centimeters. Oh, I think I should have shoved that down a little bit. I'm going to go with 7/8 of an inch on that one. So quite a lot of dry, hard material came out of both ear canals there. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another. And I'll see you again for the next video. Bye, everyone.